Hi folks, it's been a little while since we last played this, about a year actually. But I've started getting back into it. Some Settlements DLC for Fallout 4. So I've pretty much got it to a point where we're getting on. So I've still got a few bits and pieces. Well, not that. Well, you've not missed anything major. The only difference I've done is if you remember, we were supposed to save someone called Caitlin. It turns out that it was Jake's wife, and we got his daughter back. They're both at the HQ now, so that's good. Other than that, we are pretty much where we left off from the previous save file. Obviously, the next gen's out and stuff. That's been about a year since that's been out. That shows you how long ago I played this. But anyway, yeah, we are going to continue the settlements and hopefully get it finished. I've been playing it for so long now. Anyway, enjoy. Hopefully. As you know, there will still be crashes and freezes throughout the game and bugs, but well, it's Bethesda, it's Fallout. What are you gonna do?
Got it.
Ah, there you are. Got some good news. With Magnuson's help, we deciphered the holotape we found in 111. We can now make more advanced ASAMs. In fact, I already built one. Saying that, and I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but between you and me, I get a little tired of all this mystery and intrigue. Sure, he's helping us, but I wish Madison would just stop drip-feeding us stuff. Just tell us everything we need to know already, so we can get on with things.
That is precisely why I asked you to come here.
Oh, the doctor. I didn't realize you were, wait, how are you?
Didn't mean to startle. To make our discussion a bit less cumbersome, I've commandeered what remains of the museum's PA system. And, considering what it is I have to say, I thought this museum an appropriate venue. Now, shall we begin?
Please do.
The reason I asked you here is, well, there are certain topics I've avoided discussing or have intentionally sidestepped whenever you made mention of them. But before we go any further, these topics are things you need to know, and I believe that I can now trust you with this knowledge. So, to that end, I shall reveal to you who it is that employs the Gunners. But before that, I must explain to you about Project Selene and the Ingram tape technology the Gunners seek.
Can you tell me more about this technology?
The Ingram tapes were my answer to managing something as sophisticated as my Project Selene. Initially, I tried using computers for the task, but they lacked the ability to solve problems creatively. After that, I tried robots, but operating individually, they simply weren't clever enough. And when networked, their personalities became unstable. So in the end, I settled on using an AI. It presented the best option, and lacked the drawbacks of the previous methods.
Hold on, AI? As in an artificial intelligence? You sure don't half-ass things, do you?
I needed the best, which is why I constructed the AI using a copy of my own mind. It took some time, but everything I am was copied and downloaded to 5 tapes. These were the Ingram tapes.
Okay, that's pretty good. I'm impressed.
My goal is not to impress, but to clarify just how important these tapes are, how valuable they'd be to someone like the Gunner's employer. You see, collectively, the Ingram tapes hold the total sum of my experiences, knowledge, and personality. They're a virtual treasure trove of information. And as if that were not enough, the tapes are also the key to the operation of Project Selene.
who are the Gunners working for?
Before I answer that, you need to know about my project.
Can you tell me more about this technology?
The Ingram tapes contain a copy of my entire mind, as that was the only thing sophisticated enough to run and manage Project Selene.
How'd you do that?
Thankfully, the technology to copy one's mind was already available. Not that it was easy to come by, but it helps to know the right people. Still, the process was experimental and wasn't always gentle to the user. A number of people had passed away undergoing the procedure. Well, I wasn't feeling quite ready to have my brain fried, so I did what I could to improve the hardware. And I'm pleased to say I did a rather good job. And so, my brain was copied. Most people's Ingrams fit into a single tape. Those performing the procedure thought mine might fit into 2. I said at least 4. But in the end, it was 5. It seems at times even I underestimate the utter brilliance of my mind.
Someone's a little full of himself.
I'm going to overlook that comment, but only because I need you to understand how important these tapes are. Why they'd be so valuable to someone like the Gunner's employer. You see, collectively, the Ingram tapes hold the total sum of my experiences, knowledge, and personality. They're a virtual treasure trove of information. And as if that were not enough, the tapes are also the key to the operation of Project Selene.
What can you tell me about this project?
Yes, Project Selene. Many saw the end of the world coming, and many made attempts to preserve something of what was. Be that resources, data, people. My attempt was Project Selene, a self-sustained habitat for humanity, built upon the surface of the moon. A lunar colony! I knew I could do it. I just needed funding so I could develop the technology to pull it off. That's where Robco came in. With their financial support, I successfully developed the tech that would guide the construction of the lunar colony's complex infrastructure.
You're talking about ASAMs, aren't you? So that's what you made them for.
Yes, ASAMs. It's with Robco's backing that I was able to create them. Real ASAMs, mind you, not these phony baloney knockoffs you've been using.
It sounds like you were really making a difference.
If events had transpired differently, perhaps I could have made a difference. However, before I could even construct a rocket to launch the first payload of ASAMs to the lunar surface, Robco double-crossed me. They cut my funding, took the ASAMs, and kicked me to the curb. Cut adrift, and with time against me, I sought salvation from a devil. In order to salvage Project Selene, I made a deal with Vault Tech. They got my project back on track and facilitated the production of the Ingram tapes.
What can you tell me about this project?
Project Selene is a self-sustained... It's for this project.
What did you say?
Yes, that's right. The moon. Before you were born, Americans had already set foot on its dusty soil. And even back then, they knew it offered more than just a celestial nightlight or an out-of-the-way place to store an old flag. It took 83 years, but eventually, the U.S. was ready to stake a claim, to start colonizing the moon. Unfortunately, so were the Chinese. Commie forces had invaded the lunar surface, but the good old US of A already had a team waiting for them. My team. We called it the Battle in the Sea of Tranquility. Hell of a fight. We won, of course, but it came at a price. The Space Administration had a change of heart. They deemed colonization impractical, too costly. They scrapped the project, covered everything up. That's when I decided to leave the space program, retire from the Air Force. I wasn't ready to give up. So I started Project Selene.
What happened after that?
At this point, Armageddon was still at least 2 decades away. Of course, I didn't know that at the time, but many of us suspected we didn't have long. I moved into the private sector, took whatever research jobs seemed interesting. Cryogenics, plasma-based propulsion, engramic digitization, whatever I thought might be useful for Project Selene. Eventually, once I'd compiled enough research, I brought my project proposal to Robco.
What was it like, working with Robco?
Irritating, but productive. Thankfully, Robco's CEO was an old friend of mine, who just so happened to owe me a few favors. So, whenever things became too vexing, the drop of a name, a short phone call, and most things would iron themselves out. Or, so I thought. Evidently, even a CEO has a limit to how many strings they can pull. And eventually, marketing will always demand its pound of flesh. You see, Robco's board of directors weren't very happy with my altruistic effort to save a sliver of humanity. No, they wanted something they could sell. They wanted a product.
And then, as usual, everything fell apart.
Yes. I had thought that Robco would easily be brought to heel. However, before I could even construct a rocket to launch the first payload of ASAMs to the lunar surface, Robco double-crossed me. They cut my funding, took the ASAM, in order to salvage...
Who are the Gunners working for?
Would it surprise you to learn that you've already met them? They're the ones who came to my rescue when Robco stabbed me in the back. They offered you and your family the chance to survive nuclear annihilation. Yes, that's right. The Gunners, they work for Vault-Tec.
Wait, Vault-Tec?
Yes, you heard me right. Vault-Tec. You didn't truly believe them gone, did you? That they'd simply allowed themselves to be blown to Kingdom Come when the bombs fell?
But Vault-Tec? How is that even... I mean, where have they been all this time? I never seen them around anywhere. How could they have survived?
You want to know where Vault-Tec is? Look to the memorial in front of you, or better yet, just look up at the night sky. Vault-Tec provided me everything I needed to bring Project Selene to fruition, also that they could snatch it away for themselves. And so, for 2 whole centuries, Vault-Tec have been hiding themselves away, safe and sound, in my lunar colony.
I guess it does make sense.
I appreciate you being receptive. It'll make what's to come less difficult.
Okay, I can accept that the Gunners are working for Vault-Tec. But back in 111, you said the Gunners were hired to locate, secure, and then deliver engram tapes to their employer. Now, I know you said they're important, but there's gotta be more to it. If Vault-Tec already has a whole lunar colony, why are they making the Gunners tear apart the Commonwealth? In order to find a bunch of tapes?
Because Luna Colony needs the Ingram tapes in order to function. Without the tapes to regulate and sustain its systems, the colony is on the brink of catastrophic system failure. I'll admit, I'm at a loss as to how Vault-Tec has kept things running for as long as they have, but their time is up. Luna Colony has begun its collapse. And without the means to return to Earth, if Luna Colony perishes, so will Vault-Tec. That is why they are so eager to acquire those tapes.
That's a lot to process.
I know you and Vault-Tec have history, Doc, but are they really our enemy? I mean, it's been the Gunners who've...
The Gunners are following orders from Vault-Tec. Ultimately, Vault-Tec are responsible for this war, and make no mistake, They are your enemy. Listen, the reason I've told you all this is not to scare you, but so you can fully comprehend what you're up against. You've become a potent hindrance to the Gunners and their employer. The Gunners have already located 4 of the Ingram tapes, and if you thought this war you found yourself in was bad now, if Vault Tech get their hands on all 5 tapes, they'll have all they need to ensure you never hinder them again. That is why it's imperative we use atomic rain as soon as we can. Wipe the Gunners out before they have a chance to fulfill their contract. It's the only way to guarantee the safety of yourself and the Commonwealth.
Come on, Doctor. You're taking it more personally than that.
I keep forgetting how perceptive you are. Yes, you are correct. The scope of my motivations goes beyond the well-being of you or the Commonwealth. This is personal. Vault Tech took something from me. And they threaten to take away a lot more if they're not stopped. That is why the moment for us to strike is now. For the sake of everyone, we must bring this crisis to an end.
Don't worry, Doc. We hear you. When it comes to ending this war, we're all on the same page.
We've spoken long enough. It's time for you to move out.
Tell me the next step, then.
Proceed to the USAF station where you found the comm hub, and then I'll direct you in the assembly of the supercomputer. Magnuson out.
Huh. Guess that's a history lesson over with. Still, Vault Tech. Did not see that coming. But does kind of make sense, if it's true.
What do you think?
As crazy as it all sounds, everything Madison said does seem to add up. Could be everything you said was 100% sincere. Or he might just be a master of deception.
He doesn't strike me as the dishonest type.
Anyway, looks like Madison wants us to go to Olivia. Come on, let's go get this computer built. Lead on and I'll follow. Wait, looks like other raider groups moved in since we were last here. Let's clean house.
Only a fucking coward hides!
Come on, let's head into Olivia.
Heads up, raiders!
Good. It's over. Hostiles inside. We'll need to take them out.
Nothing there now. What do you think? Jumping in shadows. Yeah, you're probably right. Got it. Losing people.
Magnuson here. You should be at Olivia by now. I trust all is well.
Yeah, everything's fine, Doc. We're good to go. So this is where we're building the computer, right? Did you hijack atomic rain?
Yes, that's right. We'll be utilizing Olivia's satellite dish. Before the war, I dispatched the comm hub here for similar reasons.
Whoa now.
Regrettably, the bombs fell before the hub could be connected. But let us not fixate on past failures. Instead, we should focus on assembling the supercomputer. That is, if your chief is ready.
Let's get this thing built.
Indeed. Let's get started. Mr. Evans, you brought the enhanced ASAM I requested you fabricate, correct?
Oh, yeah. Got it right here.
Good. Now, this may be a tad more complicated than you're accustomed to. Nonetheless, I'll guide you as best as I can. First, take the improved ASAM and position it on a nearby surface. The sensor should then scan the vicinity for equipment and materials we can utilize.
This sure brings back memories. Here, catch. Seems only right you should be the one to do the honors.
I'd appreciate if you didn't toss around the delicate equipment.
Oh, go ahead. Put the ASM down on that desk there. Seems the best place for it.
Now, pay close attention, adhere to my instructions, and we'll have this supercomputer built in no time at all.
Hold on. Can't quite get this corded. Ah, there. One satellite controlling supercomputer made to order. I think we're done. Whew. That was definitely more complicated than using a regular ASAM. But still, surprisingly simple. Madison sure came up with something special when he invented ASAMs. They really do allow you to build some miraculous things.
Obviously, the man was brilliant to come up with something like this.
Well, speaking of, we were meant to contact the doctor when we were done working on the computer. He said there's still one thing left to do. But before that, I was wondering if we could take a moment to talk.
Sure. Tell me what's on your mind.
Well, it kind of feels we're coming to the end of things. Don't you think? Once we turn this computer on, one way or another, the war's gonna soon be over. I suppose I was just thinking, knowing what you know now, if you had the chance to go back to when we first met, would you do it all again? You know, ASAMs, settlements, taking on the gunners, forming our own group. Putting up with Aiden. Knowing how hard it's been. Would you still choose to do it all?
I wouldn't have it any other way.
I suppose that's why you're the one in charge. If only we could all have your level of self-assurance. But you know what? Asking myself the same question, I think I would do it all again. And not just because of Laura, but because I've realized the hard times, they what reveals the kind of person you really are. And if it turns out you don't like what you're seeing in the mirror, well, now you've got a chance to change that.
The ability to change and adapt is a fundamental part of being human.
Yeah, I think so too. I came to the Commonwealth to find my kid, but I ended up finding a heck of a lot more. I found good people, a group that I care about, a cause worth fighting for. And I found myself. All because of the hard times. And also, I found someone to love, too. So, yeah. Yeah, I think I would do it all again. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there, didn't I? But I meant every word of it. Anyway, let's get back to the matter at hand, shall we?
Thanks for sharing that with me.
All right. Time to let Magnuson know what we're up to. That radio on the desk there should be linked to the dock's comm frequency. Use it to let him know we're ready to continue.
You finished assembling the supercomputer, yes? But a few more steps, and atomic rain will be under our command, and the gunners will bother you no more.
Everything is in place. It's ready to go when we are.
Excellent. There's only one thing left to do. The supercomputer must be linked to the comm hub, or array, as you now call it.
That might be a problem, Doc. You see, the comm array ain't exactly as portable as it used to be. I'm not sure we could get it here.
I know that. Did you think the use of an ASAM sensor in building the supercomputer was solely for ease of construction?
Of course not.
Physical relocation of the array will not be necessary. The supercomputer's integrated ASAM will enable remote connection.
Oh, of course. Right. Why didn't I think of that?
Once the array is linked, I'll be able to broadcast Atomic Rain's access codes from my lab to the comm array. The codes will then be decrypted by the supercomputer before being relayed via Olivia's transmitter to the Atomic Rain satellites themselves. And then we'll finally have access to Atomic Rain's nuclear arsenal.
Can you tell me more about this technology?
The Atomic Rain program was a project of mine, before Celine, when I still held the misconception that a nuclear holocaust could be averted. I'd wager the only satellites still functioning are the ones I built and sent to orbit myself. The project was an unmitigated disaster.
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Very well. I shall initiate the link-up procedure. First, I'll establish a direct radio connection between my lab's mainframe and the comm array. There we are. Next, linking the array to the supercomputer. And it is done. Verifying connection stability and... Hello? What is this?
I know that sound.
That noise. We shouldn't be hearing that. It's the ASAM boot-up frequency. It's a dummy broadcast, used only during initialization. It calculates the position of all ASAMs and any connected radio signals. Oh no. The comm array! Have you made any modifications to it recently? Answer me!
No. I mean, when we found the hub, we made some repairs, swapped out a few components. Then we rebuilt it into the comm array. Maybe installed an upgrade or two, but nothing recent, nothing you don't already know about.
Software! Have you installed any new software?
No, nothing. The only thing recently was a holotape recording from the gunners, but I checked it. It was clean. It was just a recording.
A recording alone wouldn't trigger this kind of behavior. Unless the parts used to repair the comm hub. Where did they come from?
The Commonwealth Regional Headquarters for, Voltec. They had this basement there, and, it was full of...
Voltec! Of course! You used parts from their comm hub facsimile, didn't you? That explains how they did it.
Stay calm. There's no need to panic.
The comm array. It's been bugged by the gunners. They've likely been monitoring our conversations ever since you inserted that holotape.
Are you in danger?
That is a distinct possibility. I just connected my laboratory's mainframe to the bugged comm array. If the gunners are even half awake, they'll have traced my radio signal by now, pinpointing my exact location. I may be in considerable danger.
Okay, that's not good. But maybe the gunners weren't paying attention. You could still intercept their communications, right? Find out what they know?
Yes, I'm already working on it. Stand by. I'm patching us in.
It's Alpha Golf. Ready, con. Notify Captain Lamont. Magnuson's position has been... Final engram tape location confirmed. Case Quincy. Repeat. Quincy. Troops ready to...
Blast it all! The gunners, Vault Tech, they've discovered my whereabouts. They know I'm in Quincy, and they know I possess the last Ingram tape. I don't know how they found out, but they know I have it, and they're coming to take it. You must help me.
Why didn't you tell us before?
Perhaps I should have told you, but it wouldn't have made a difference. Besides maybe hastening the gunners' arrival. Understand, it wasn't a lack of trust in you, but instead the crucial need to keep the Ingram tape's location hidden.
Of course I'll help you.
Dr. Magnuson, transmit the atomic rain launch codes, and we could hit the gunners before...
Don't you understand? It's too late for that. I'd bet 8 of my 12 PhDs they're listening to this very conversation. I can't risk transmission. Even if we use atomic rain to destroy the gunners, by transmitting the access codes, we'd just be handing them over to Vault Tech. And with those codes, they're more than capable of commandeering atomic rain for themselves. And they'd use those satellites to destroy us out of pure spite.
Then, what do we do? How do we stop them?
I say we attack.
Hey, but that's what we're already trying to do.
Listen, we can't use atomic rain, but you also cannot allow the gunners to get their hands on the last Ingram tape. If they deliver it to their employer, the entire sum of my knowledge would be at their disposal, and that includes the atomic rain launch codes. For the sake of me, yourself, the Commonwealth, and dare I say the entirety of mankind, you must stop them.
No pressure, huh?
Okay, let's get to work.
I have a plan, but our line of communication is no longer secure. Return to your headquarters, and I will find a way to instruct you further. Magnuson, out.
Come on, let's head back to HQ.
Oh, hey, Chief. All the department heads are in a meeting. Seemed important. They're probably waiting for you.
Please report any signs of infestation immediately.
Pretty much all dead. Those guys were tough, so, I mean, I guess whoever killed them had to be even tougher, right? And there's, well, I don't even know if this is true or not, but there's this rumor that maybe.
Good. You've arrived.
We know what's going on. Magnuson made contact. Well, kinda made contact.
Blah, blah, blah. Contact. How?
Dr. Magnuson transmitted some kind of signal which caused the comm array to explode. A rather crude message, but it certainly grabbed our attention.
Oh no, not again.
All right, I may have exaggerated for effect, but the transmission did blow out several of the array's components.
It forced us offline. But after some emergency repairs and workarounds, we got most things running again. And then this message started playing.
I must apologize for broadcasting this data burst. It's at the very limit of what the comm array's hardware can process. As such, receiving this message will damage the array. But it is vital that you obtain the data I am sending. It may take some time for our communications to be re-established, but until then, you must begin an offensive on the settlement of Quincy right away. I am housed in a lab beneath the surface of this town, and now that the gunners know I'm here, it won't take long for them to reach me. You must not let this happen. You cannot allow them to take the Ingram tape. Now, listen. I formulated a plan for your offensive. First, you'll need to...
This next part, we had a little trouble decrypting. Probably because of the damage to the array. Some of the message is missing.
Let's hear it.
This data must be downloaded to the holotape you recovered from Vault 111 before you attack Quincy. The plan will not work without it. I regret not always being forthright with you. But I am now prepared to confide in you fully, to reveal all. Defeat the gunners, secure the Ingram tape, and I'll reward you with everything I have the capability to offer. And if for reasons beyond my control, we do not speak again, know that outside of a few minor annoyances, it has been a pleasure. Magnuson out.
He needs our help.
That's it. That's everything we were able to retrieve. We tried contacting the doctor, but the array, it's still badly damaged.
What's this data the doc was talking about?
Oh, yes. The message included some kind of computer code. We downloaded it to the holotape as instructed.
Despite the gap in the message, the code we received seems whole and perfectly viable.
But we have no idea what it is or what it's for.
Whatever it is, I'm sure it'll work.
Right. The doc wouldn't have sent us something if it weren't important.
Regrettably, due to the corrupted message, there's no way to know Dr. Magnuson's plans for assaulting Quincy.
So instead, we've put together a plan of our own. Only, with such short notice, we're probably gonna need some outside help to pull it off.
But our plan calls for more support than we have available. We'll have to make some compromises.
You've got my attention.
As I understand it,
This engram tape is the gunner's endgame. Once they have it, they win, and we lose.
So obviously we need to secure Quincy, and find Magnuson's lab as fast as possible.
Reports indicate gunners have already overrun the town, and we can expect a lot more on the way.
What's the plan?
The strategy we've devised, first, aims to reduce the number of gunners currently occupying Quincy, and then, to mitigate the eventual retaliation. To start, we deploy a strike team to attack Quincy from the north. We make it seem like this is our main offensive, but in reality, it's merely a diversion. With the strike team preoccupying the gunners, a second team will cut a path from the HQ to Quincy's main entrance.
That'll be the defense team. They'll stop any gunners from reaching the HQ and secure the route to Quincy, ensuring a steady flow of our troops can enter. After that, our focus shifts to eliminating any gunners remaining in Quincy and finding Magnuson's lab before any more show up.
What about that second part of this plan? You said something about mitigation.
Mitigating the gunners' ability to fight back is partially what the defense team will be doing. But there are more avenues we can pursue.
Tell me about the options.
Well, this is where that outside help I mentioned comes into play. We ain't got the capacity to do everything ourselves. Well, we do, but we'd make a real sloppy job of things if we tried. But if we had enough people backing us up...
Then we'd be able to delegate additional roles to support the assault, such as making use of dedicated technicians to disable or even sabotage some of the gunners' technology. Not to mention the possibility of artillery. Range attacks on incoming gunners would thin their numbers, reducing reinforcements.
Additionally, we discussed the use of infiltration, a team of specialists who can unlock doors, hack terminals, allowing for easier passage. Air support was also considered. In situations like this, having someone friendly in the sky would certainly help.
And last, but definitely not least, having reliable mission support would greatly improve our odds. After all, effective coordination is the key to success.
But, like I said, we ain't got the capacity to do a good job of all those things ourselves. We need help.
Makes sense.
Thankfully, since the gunners first invaded, we've kept in close contact with our allies. And they've already agreed to help us however they can.
Keep in mind, we don't have enough allies to fill every role. You'll have to prioritize as well as decide which group is best suited to each task.
From the strike team to mission support, each task requires singular focus. So ideally, that means one group assigned to each role. Otherwise, performance is gonna suffer. Not to mention, some of our allies may lack the manpower to handle more than one thing. So just try to avoid any double dipping, okay?
Let's get started then.
We made contact with our allies before you arrived. They'll be sending representatives. I imagine they'll be arriving here soon.
Until then, the HQ's on temporary lockdown.
After the meeting, take some time to prep yourself. Maybe gather any gear you'll need for the assault. You might even be able to sneak in a nap if you need it. Once you're ready, just take your seat at the table. And as soon as our allies get here, I'll send them up to the meeting room.
All right, everyone. We can do this. I got faith in each and every one of you. Even Aiden. Let's do this. For the Commonwealth. And for everyone else as well.
Hey, Chief. It's time. Everyone who's gonna show has arrived.
Be nice to have more, but it's better than nothing.
Everyone here has agreed to assist with the battle. Although, some with a caveat or two.
The Nightingales are here to help, but will decline any role that requires excessive bloodshed. We are, after all, physicians, not soldiers.
Well, with all that out of the way, let's get to it, shall we?
Everyone who's gonna show is here. We're ready to do this.
I have full confidence in everyone's abilities here.
I'm sure everyone already knows that. After all, you're the reason they're here.
There's no need for further discussion. Everyone here knows the plan, and what's at stake. It's time to decide each group's role in the assault. Remember, Not every group is well suited to each task, and some groups lack the size to accept more than one role. So choose wisely. All right. First up, who here should lead our strike team? Very well. From who we have available, I'll pick who I think would do a decent job for each role.
With everyone aware of their duties, before leaving, I'll ensure they have all that's needed to perform their roles as effectively as possible.
Say, now that we got a strike team picked, we're gonna need to get things prepped for him. I think we'll need your help on this one, Chief. Me, Aiden, and Sal will wait outside. Come find us as soon as you're ready.
In the meantime, the rest of us will continue repairing the comm array, recovering more of Magnuson's message, and attempting to re-establish contact with the doctor.
All right then. We all know what we're doing. Good luck, everyone.
Yeah?
Still around.
Maybe constantly trying to kill us, but the Commonwealth never lacks for excitement. Yes?
So, what's our situation?
I think it's safe to assume each team is busy making preparations for the attack. Well, apart from the infiltration team. They left for Quincy a few minutes ago.
Speaking of preparation, we still need to secure locations for the strike team's diversion.
I've been thinking about that. There's an old military checkpoint just down the road from Quincy. Last I heard, it was under gunner control. If we took it, not only would it draw the gunners' attention, but it offers an ideal launching point for the strike team.
What do you say, Chief? Ready to lead some troops to secure the checkpoint?
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
The military checkpoint's a solid option, but we still require a secondary location to observe the gunners' response to the strike team's efforts.
What about Hyde Park? If you don't mind getting your boots a little wet, it'll give us a good vantage point, and it's got some decent cover.
And that's what we'll do. Chief, you'll need to lead a squad to capture the South Boston military checkpoint, and then double back to secure Hyde Park before returning to HQ. Once you've done that, we can begin the assault on Quincy.
You can trust me with this. I'll get it done.
We know that. After all, you're our chief.
We've set up a command table that you can use to organize the troops.
While you're busy out in the field, we'll get everything ready here. Good luck, Chief.
Do I look like I have time for idle chit-chat? Military checkpoint parade. Coordinates are available in your emergency handbook. This checkpoint has been designated as a safe house in case of enemy invasion, and is currently stocked with additional food, water, and ammunition. This safe house is for military personnel only. Citizens, including non-military family members, will be turned away from matters of national safety. This is an emergency message to all Commonwealth Army soldiers. Emergency protocols 17 Echo Charlie Niner are in effect. This safe house is for military personnel only. Citizens, including non-military family members, will be turned away from matters of national safety. This is an emergency message to all Commonwealth Army soldiers. Emergency protocols 17 Echo Charlie Niner are in effect. If you are in distress, please proceed to the South Boston Military Checkpoint Parade. Coordinates are available in your emergency handbook.
South Boston checkpoint is under our control. Leave behind a detachment of troops and proceed to Hyde Park. Over and out. Hyde Park secured. We can monitor the strike team and receive live reports on their progress. Return to headquarters. It's time to take Quincy.